As always, let's bring ourselves into a comfortable seated position in the center of your mat. Good, and then just let's settle ourselves a little bit here, okay? You may have had busy weeks, you may not have, really, to be honest. But Fridays, we're coming towards the weekend, so let's just take a moment to center ourselves and breathe. So once you've lifted the crown of your head towards the ceiling and lengthened out your neck and spine, your shoulders are released. Take that long breath in through your nose. And then a nice long and steady breath out through your mouth. And do as many of those breaths as you feel like you need to. Just to start to settle your mind, make yourself feel nice and relaxed. And if you want to close your eyes here, then go for it. Whatever you need to do to bring yourself inwardly a little bit more. Good, and then just finding that nice, steady breathing rate. Okay, so without that want to try and lengthen out our breath as if we're better people if we lengthen out our breath. Instead, just trying to find the rhythm that makes you feel comfortable. Just so that you're concentrating on actually breathing, and you'll probably find that your breath will lengthen naturally anyway. Good. Now the next time you inhale, I want you to reach your hands forwards and away from you. Okay, now point your palms forwards as well and lift your fingers so they're pointing towards the ceiling. Okay, so we're stretching out the underside of our wrists. Good, now take another long breath in, and keeping our arms nice and long, we're going to lift them up towards the ceiling as if you're going to do a handstand on the ceiling. Good, now let's bring our fingers towards the ceiling as well and keep them moving so they're pointing forwards. So we're now stretching out the top side of our wrists. Good, let's point those fingers back towards the ceiling. Turn the palms away from each other. And then turn them to face each other. Good, again, turn them away. And then turn them together. Good, now just gently allow your hands to come back into your lap. Roll your shoulders both forwards and backwards. Turn your head to the left. Bring your chin towards your left shoulder. And then draw it round to the other side before bringing it back to center. Good, let's just shake out our fingers, wrists, hands, elbows, arms, and generally just loosen yourselves up. Good, and then make your way onto all fours onto your mat. Making sure that your knees are roughly hip distance apart. Your fingers are spread. And then let's just move through some cat-cow here. Okay, some nice, easy cat-cow movement. So inhaling, stomach dips, bum sticks back and look forwards. Exhale, tuck your tailbone under, look between your knees. Move at the pace that best suits that rhythm of breath that you set yourself at the beginning, and just feel, for example, today I can feel that my lower back is particularly tight, just probably from sitting at my desk without a break for a while. So just gently ease the muscles by slowly moving them. Good. Let's bring ourselves back to our neutral spine. Just gently shift your hips from side to side. Good. Now we're going to inhale and pull forwards over the top of our fingers, bend our elbows a little bit, and then we're going to go in reverse, like someone's flicked the reverse sign. Good. Again, inhale, pull yourself over your fingers, bend your elbows, and then go back through your reverse. Good. Just keep those movements going. You're going to feel the back of your wrists start to stretch out, making sure you're pressing your finger pads nice and firmly into the floor as well to help support your body. Good. Last one. Come back to a neutral spine. This time we're going to send our body back. Okay, so we're going to send our bum towards our heels, but then as we come back towards the center, we're going to round our back. So we're going to press our tailbone down and come all the way back over the top of our fingers before leveling out our spine again. Okay, so coming back towards our heels, tuck your tailbone, arch your back like you do in cat and cat-cow, and then come back to center. Good, now keep these movements going. Good. We'll just do one more of those movements towards the heels. Good. Now we're going to bring those two parts together. Okay. So we're going to neutralize our spine. So we're going to be in our normal all fours position. Pull yourself forwards over your fingers. Dip your elbows. Then go back all the way towards your heels. Tuck your tailbone as you bring yourself back towards neutral spine, and then carry on that movement back over your fingers. Lead yourself back towards your heels. Tuck your tailbone to draw yourself forwards. Once your elbows bend, shift your hips back towards your heels. See if you can find some fluidity in these movements, like you're a wave, an undulating wave, if you will. Good, let's bring ourselves back to a neutral spine the next time you come onto all fours. Good, let's draw our right hand forwards. Slide your left hand through and underneath, and then just lower your shoulder down towards the floor as far as you're able to, keeping your hips over the top of your knees, or at least roughly. Good. Let's swap over. So bringing our left hand forwards and then taking the right arm through and under. Breathe. Good, let's come back to center. Hands are a little bit further forwards than they were in your all fours position. Prepare yourself to go up into your downward facing dog. So elbows slightly out, scoop them in, and then lift your knees away from the floor, downward facing dog. Good, let's take a strong breath together here. So long breath in through your nose, and then let it go. Good, two more like that. Long breath in, and let it go. One more of those. Good. Pull yourself forwards into a plank, lower your knees, and come back to all fours. Good. Just shake your tailbone from side to side. This time, maybe bring your shoulders to dip into it as well. Okay, so as you shift your hips to the left, your right shoulder dips. Good. Let's just flip ourselves onto the backs of our hands here as well. Okay, because we've stretched out the underside of our wrists quite a lot here. So just press down on the top of your hands to stretch out the top part of your wrists, and maybe just flex your fingers as well. Good. Flip those hands back, ready yourselves to go back up into downward facing dog. Good. Now from downward facing dog, tuck your tailbone as you did before when you were on your knees to come forwards into a plank. Once you come into a plank, send your hips back towards downward facing dog by rotating in your hips. Good. Again, tuck your tailbone as you ripple forwards into a plank, and then send yourself back into downward facing dog. Good. Keep it going. Come forwards into that plank. Then send your hips back into downward facing dog. Last one, come forwards. Pause when you get to your plank. Good. Bring your knees to the floor if you wish, or keep them raised. And then lower yourself all the way to the floor. Once you come fully down, untuck your toes, roll your shoulders back. So you come into a cobra. Good. Take a long breath in here. And then let it go. Good. And then press yourself up and back into downward facing dog. Good. Now we're going to draw our left knee forwards here. Come forwards over the tops of your fingers and see if you can step your left foot up in between your hands. Again, option here is to lower the back knee down and shift this foot up manually with your hands. Good. Wherever you are, lift your back knee away from the floor so we come into a runner's lunge. Good. Let's see if we can dip our hips down a little bit more towards the floor and look forwards. Hold it there. Good. Lift the hips a little bit more. Press into your left foot and look towards the floor. Good. Again, lower the hips, look forwards. And then press and look down towards the floor. So you should feel a stretch here on the inner thighs. Good. Now staying in our runner's lunge in a more neutral setting, so not too dipped in the hips, but equally not too raised. We're going to do a series of steps up with our back foot to tap the back of our calf. Okay, so we're going to lift our back foot up, tap the back of your left calf, and then come all the way back. Okay, and we're going to do that 4 more times. So when you're ready, inhale, lift and tap, exhale, back. Inhale, lift and tap, exhale, back. Inhale, lift and tap, exhale, back. Good. This time as we draw the leg up, we're going to step it up next to the left foot. So inhale, lift it all the way up so we come to folding over our legs. Good. Now straighten out your legs as much as you can, and then just let your body hang wherever it needs to. Okay, you might be a lot higher up, or you might be a lot further towards the floor. Just hold it there. Good. Now start to bend the knees, stick your bum back, and then inhale to swoop your arms up into a chair pose. And then exhale to press yourself to standing. Good. Inhale again to lengthen out your body, and then exhale to fold yourself back down towards the floor. Good. Again, bend your knees, stick your bum back. Inhale to lift your hands into a chair pose. Exhale to press the floor away. Inhale to reach up a little higher. And then exhale to fold yourself back down towards the floor. Good. One more. So bend the knees, stick the bum back. Inhale, lift to chair. Exhale to lift up to standing. Good. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to fold. Good. Now just bend your knees as much as you need to here to bring your hands down onto the floor. Okay, we're going to stretch our left leg all the way back, but we're going to do 5 of those lifts and tapping of the back of your right calf. So when you're ready, inhale, lift and tap. Exhale, take it back. Inhale, lift and tap. Exhale, take it back. Inhale, lift and tap. Take it back. Inhale, lift and tap. Take it back. One more. Inhale, lift and tap. Maybe pause here for a second and then take it back. Good. Now again, start to lower your hips. Look forwards. Press into your right foot. Lift your hips up a bit and look down towards the floor. Again, feeling this in the inner thighs. So inhale, let the hips dip and look forwards. Exhale, press down with your right foot, look down. Good, last one. Inhale, look forwards. Exhale, look down. Good, plant your hands as firmly as you can into the mat and see if you're able to slide your right leg all the way back into a plank. Let's lift our hips as well and bend our knees to come back into downward facing dog. Again, we're going to move through that wave motion here. So tucking our tailbone down, rippling forwards into a plank before sending ourselves back into downward facing dog. Good, again, ripple yourself forwards and then downward facing dog. Good, last one, ripple yourself forwards. Hold it there, option to lower your knees or keep them raised as you lower down through a chaturanga and come back into a cobra. Breathe. Good. Let's shift our hips back into a child's pose. Good. Let's draw ourselves back and come back and up into a downward facing dog. Good. Now let's find some buoyancy into our legs here. So just bounce nice and lightly into your knees. Shift the weight over to the right leg and lift the left foot away, but still bounce. And then take it over to the left, still bounce. Good. Right and still bounce. Left and bounce. Good, let's bring both feet back down. Keep that bouncing movement going and then do tiny little bunny hops. 1, closer towards the top. 2, 3, 4, and then maybe 5 to get yourself all the way to the top. Good, now press down with your feet. Lift yourself nice and high. Stretch out. Good, grab hold of your left wrist with your right hand. Pull that left wrist a little higher and then dip over to the right hand side, stretching out the left side of your rib cage. Good, come back to center, swap over your hands. Reach up nice and high and then dip over to the left. Good, back to center. Bend your knees as you exhale and fold. Good, now taking just a light bend into your knees here, grab hold of either elbow and just gently rock yourself from side to side. Let your head be loose, neck is loose, and breathe. Good, let's roll ourselves up nice and slowly so that we come into a mountain pose. Just find your breath here in your mountain pose. Maybe even closing your eyes. Good. When you're ready, let's bring our hands to our hips and lift our left leg away from the floor. Good, so that left knee starts to rise up towards the ceiling. Toes are flexed. Good, now start to lean forwards and we're going to step that left leg all the way towards the back of the mat. If you don't get it that far back, then just shimmy it back. Good. Now take a long breath in, and as you do so, bend into your front knee and swoop your arms towards the ceiling. As you exhale, we're going to pivot out into a warrior 2 stance. Okay, so you can play around with the way your footing is just to make sure that you're happy. Good, now bend into that front knee. Arms are out. Good, we're gonna wrap our left arm behind our back and turn our right palm towards the ceiling. Good, now inhale, bend and lift. And then exhale, come back to center. Good. We're gonna do that a few more times. So bend and lift. Back to center. Bend and lift. Kind of like a variation of bend and snap. Good, bend and lift. Last one. Bend and lift. Good, let's come back to our normal warrior two. Let's bring our hands to our waist and come back onto the toes of the left foot. Good, when you're ready, step yourself up. Big long step, might have to do it in more than one steps. Just get yourself to the top. Take a long breath in and then let it go. Good, when you're ready, right leg lifts. Good, let it float up towards the ceiling. Flex the toes and make sure you're looking at something that doesn't move and focus on it. Finding your balance. Good, when you're ready, start to tilt forwards. Extend your right foot back. See how much control you can muster as you step that foot back into a high lunge position. Good, bend into that front knee nice and deeply. Again, inhale, bend, lift your arms up nice and high, and then exhale, pivot your back foot to come out into warrior two on the other side. Good, again, we're gonna wrap our right arm around our back. Turn the left palm towards the ceiling and bend and lift. Back to center as you exhale. Inhale, bend and lift. Back to center. Bend and lift. Back to center. Bend and lift. Good, last one. Bend and lift. Good, holding that lift just for a few seconds before bringing both arms back out. Warrior two. Hands onto the waist. Let's rotate back onto the toes of your right foot. And again, see if you can step yourself all the way to the top of your mat. Good. Long breath in. Steady breath out. Long breath in. Steady breath out. Long breath in. Steady breath out. Good, let's inhale and lift our arms. Turn the palms towards the ceiling so you get a little extra stretch down the sides of your arm and body. And then exhale to fold back down towards the floor. Good, begin to roll up. Bring your hands onto your waist as you come past. Let's lift that left foot all the way up again. Find your balance. Good, before tilting yourself forwards. And again, see how carefully you can plant that back foot towards the back of the mat. Good, again, bend into that front knee as you swoop your arms up, high lunge, and then exhale to pivot yourself out. Warrior two. I could definitely go a little bit wider here. Good. We're going to straighten our front leg and turn our right toes to point in the same direction as the back toes. Good. Maybe even take your stance a little wider if it's possible. And try and send the weight of your legs down the outer side of your legs so you can lift the arches of your inner feet. Good. Let's bring our hands onto our waist and then just play around with bending a little bit into the left, a little bit into the right, back into the left. Good. Now see if you can stick your bum back a little bit here. So you're shifting your hips back, we're going to lift our arms and then bend deeply into our knees and bring our elbows in line with our shoulders. Good, now stay here. We're going to extend our left arm up and start to tilt over towards the right-hand side. Good, come back to center, rebend that left arm. Good, same thing with the other side. So taking it over and back. Good, again, extend, bend over and back. Extend, bend over and come back. Good, one more time on each side. Good, now we're going to extend both arms up, breathe, and then start to fold forward. So you'll notice it will straighten out your legs. Fold as far forwards as you think you can manage, and then breathe. So just steady your breath. If your hands can reach the floor, great. You can use it as a way to stabilize yourself. If you want to challenge yourself, you can either bring your hands behind your back, interlacing at the elbows. As you just work on feeling that inner thigh stretch. Good, nice. And slowly start to bend into your knees a little bit to help lift you back up towards standing. Good, we're going to turn our right toes so they're back facing the right hand side. You may want to bring your back foot in a little bit if you've gone quite wide. Good, rebend into that front knee. Arm comes out. Good. See if you can shift yourself back onto the toes of your left foot to come back into a high lunge. And then see how little number of steps it takes to bring yourself all the way to the top of your mat. And once you manage to get all the way to the top, extend your arms as much as you can. And then fold. Good, bend your knees nice and deeply. Plant your hands into the mat. And then step both feet back into a plank. Option to bring your knees to the floor here if you wish, or keep them raised as you pull forwards, lower down through a chaturanga, back into a cobra. Good, squeeze your bum, squeeze something between your heels. Imagine there's a little tennis ball sitting between your heels. Give it a squeeze and relax your shoulders. Good, we're going to lift our hips and send ourselves back towards a child's pose. Good, option here is to bring your hands behind you, interlace the thumbs and reach up towards the ceiling. Okay, this is just an option. You don't have to take it. Just wherever you are. Breathe. Good. Now, if you have your hands interlaced above your head or behind your back, pull them further away from you to help you roll the body back up to sitting on your heels. If you have your hands forwards, then just pad your hands back to get yourself back to sitting on your heels. And the next bit is going to be for our shoulders. So it doesn't matter what we're doing with our legs, it's entirely up to you. You can sit cross-legged, or you can bring yourself into this position on your heels. Good, wherever you are, let's lift our hands up towards the ceiling. Good, turn the palms so they face forwards. Good, now inhale again, reach your hands as high as possible, and then exhale to bring them into that cactus shape again. Okay, now squeeze your shoulder blades together to help lift your chest. Good, and then re-extend. Good. Let's draw them back down. Squeeze those shoulder blades. And re-extend. Good. Last one. Squeeze those shoulder blades. And then re-extend. Good. From here, fold over your legs. Let your head be loose. Let your neck be loose. Maybe nod it yes and shake your head no. And breathe. And then slowly roll yourself back up to your seated position. Shift yourself onto your bum if you're not there already. And let's take our right leg out to the side, bringing our other leg so that it's bent at the knee and the foot is trying to get onto the inside of the thigh. You may have to bring your foot lower down if you're not able to get it up this high. That's fine. Just play around with whatever your body is capable of doing. Again, if you have bricks or pillows and you feel yourself leaning back, just slide them underneath you to help lift and tilt your pelvis forwards. Good, now let's make sure that this leg is nice and active. So the toes are curling back towards you, the heel is pressing away from you. We're going to lift our arms. We're going to turn and look towards our extended foot. And then we are going to fold, leading with our chest. So keep your arms elevated. I appreciate for some it's going to be difficult to keep them elevated as you get further forwards. But as soon as you can't go any further forwards with your body, let your hands drop. Okay, if you're not near your toes, slide your hand underneath wherever your hands land. And then encourage your chest to come forwards more, rolling the shoulders back. If you're able to grab hold of your feet and you need a little extra, maybe try and take a fist behind your foot and then taking hold of that with your other hand. Okay, just to give you a little extra length. We're all different here. This is about the maximum distance that I should go to get that leg stretch. So I'm not someone who grabs hold of my toes. And breathe. Good. When you're ready, let's roll our bodies slowly back up to seated. We're going to open up our legs a little more. So we're going to take that bent knee and open our legs out to the side. Okay. So some of you may be able to go fully out into side splits. Some of you may have your legs quite shallow. It's not a problem. If you need to take a small bend into your knee, also not a problem. We're just going to do a simple crawl fold here. So take a long breath in through your nose. And then as you exhale, we're going to crawl our fingers along the mat to try and bring our body forwards. Okay, you're going to feel this on the inner thighs. Some of you may not be able to go far at all. Some of you may be able to fully collapse into the part between your legs. And when I say part between your legs, I mean the space between your legs. Wherever you are, just breathe. Feel that inner thigh stretch here. Before gently rolling yourself back up. We're going to bring the opposite knee this time, bent and pressing the foot onto the inside of the thigh. Same principles as before. Lift our arms. Good, turn and face that foot that's extended and then lead with your chest, bringing yourself forwards. When you can't come forwards any further with your chest, let your hands drop. Take the underside of that part of your limb and then press forwards. Breathe. Feel that stretch running up the back and side of your extended leg. ready, slowly lift yourself back to seated. This time we're going to bring both feet in rather than out. Draw the feet as close to your body as you can. Knees go either direction. And you can either hold onto your feet here and manually press your knees further towards the floor when we stretch, or you can bring a little extra weight from your arms. It's entirely up to you. So when you're ready, take a long breath in. And as you exhale, see if you can let those knees become a little bit heavier. Good. And when you're ready, let's draw these knees up towards one another. Make sure you're lengthways along the mat. Okay, we're going to lift our feet away from the floor so we're balancing on our lower back. Bring our hands down by our side to help us balance here. Now let's curl our toes back again towards us to strengthen out these legs. And then when you're ready, start to press the legs away from you as you start to press your shoulders back. And see how slowly you can do it. Until eventually you bring yourself flat down onto the mat and release. Good, nice and slowly draw your knees towards your chest and gently just rock yourself from side to side. Okay, we're going to lower the feet just behind our bum, or as close to our bum as we can. You may be able to gently touch the back of your heel, or you may not. Doesn't matter. Good, with your hands down by your side, palms facing the floor. When you're ready, take a long inhale and lift your hips straight up towards the ceiling. As you get towards the top, tuck your chin towards your chest to lengthen out your neck and breathe. Good, and then when you're ready, slowly lower back down. Keeping your feet roughly where they are. Let's take our left arm behind us and reach it towards the back of the room. And take the knees over to the right hand side. So you can feel your left rib cage stretching out. Good, and then slowly bring your knees back up. Bring your left hand back down by your side. And then let's stretch our right arm behind us and take your knees over to the left. So you can feel your right rib cage stretching out. Good, and then slowly, let's bring those knees back up. Bring that right hand back down. Just gently rest either one or both of your hands on your belly. As you slowly start to press your legs forwards. Take a long breath in through your nose. And as you exhale, just release all the muscles in your body. Releasing your lower back muscles, allowing it to press down into the floor. Your bum muscles, let them melt. And your shoulders, let them come back. Your jaw, and that space that sits between your eyebrows. Just so you feel almost like you could melt or dissolve into the floor. And then with that one or both hands that are on your belly, just gently start to let go of your breath. So let it start to become automatic. So you can just feel the natural inhales and exhales, the movements they cause on your belly. Letting your eyes sink back. Being aware that you are at the end of your week, almost. Just allowing you this time to check in with how you are doing. Practicing becoming more aware of yourself. And then when you're ready, let's start to wiggle our fingers and our toes and start to bring life slowly back into our bodies. And also start to regain control of our breath. And it become a little deeper and deliberate. When you're ready, start to draw your knees in towards your chest. And then roll yourself slowly over towards the right or the left-hand side. Whichever one is more comfortable to you. And bring yourself back to your seated position that you took at the beginning of the class. And then together we're going to take a long breath in through the nose. And then release out through the mouth. And gently flutter your eyelids open. Thank you all of you who have joined today for your end of week yoga session. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend. But to all of us who are here today, most importantly to yourselves, you can bow and say, Namaste. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.